Hello there.
Bright suns, everybody.
Bright suns. Already seeing several people in the chat. Big shout out to Texas. Yeah, doing well.
You guys, Texas Family Camping, welcome back. Welcome in. And
yeah,
Mickey, hey, and of course, big Disney fan, Keith, it's great to have you here. Tina McNeil has an appointment. She has a hair appointment. So she said she's not going to be here, and I completely understand because hair appointments are hard to get this time of year. So you got to keep that.
Yeah. And shout out to Mickey Siding, Sean.
Welcome in, guys. We appreciate you being here. Andy, good to see you. Hello. Hi. Good to see you. So good to see everybody. And Texas Family Camping was in really early. Appreciate that. Our fellow Texans.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all being here. So absolutely. Bright suns, and it is bright suns today in Texas, actually. I know our friends up north are getting some pretty serious weather. So we hope everybody stays safe up there. Lots of snow. Rob Fuzz put up I think it was on Instagram, put up a picture of some pretty heavy snow up there. So you guys, he's going to be out shoveling, imagine. And so, y'all be safe up there. Enjoy it. It's beautiful.
Yeah. India is currently here in Northwest Indiana.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, White Christmas probably for you guys, usually. And so on occasion we get a White Christmas, but not every time. So we are all I think William and I kind of had the same idea today. It's kind of dress up day. These ears I got at like a white elephant trading thing one year. And we were about to go that year to Disney for Christmas. That was our first time we went. And so I snagged these, and I love these. Adam usually wears these. He's got the best hat game in the family. But these are Yoda ears, actually. So, and there were people that were trying to take them off him in the park. So we love it. And William, of course, you have your Jedi robes. You bought those?
I do. I bought them on this last trip. I got them from the Galactic Trading Post at Disney Springs, actually.
Yeah.
We went on this last trip, Jillian and I were just there for 3 days. So we did Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, and Hollywood Studios. Well, I was on the fence. I really wanted to get the robes. But I just couldn't bring myself to do it, and so I ended up having to run to Disney Springs. Hey, welcome in, Katrina Scopini. Thank you for being here. And so I got my Jedi robes. So I've got the outer robes and then the inner robes as well. I may take it off so you can see the top.
I haven't seen those yet in person. For Christmas, you're gonna have to bring them.
Sure. Big shout out to the cast member that helped me check out, getting these robes. I wanted them and they're available. I don't know if they're still available on Shop Disney, but they were available on Shop Disney at one point, within the last couple of months. And, I'm kind of in between, XL, 2X. And so I really did need to try them on to, see how they fit. And they fit great.
Yeah. Oh, they look wonderful. I wonder if those are the ones that Russ wears. Russ has. Actually, I think he may have made his. When I think about it, I'm trying to remember what he said it is, but yeah, they look great. You may have to get up and if you can, show us the inner, because they come with the inner part too. There. Oh wow. Oh man, those. Oh, stop it. That is great. Oh, that is great. Yeah, that was a good investment. I'll have to say that was really a good investment. Neat. Oh wow. Yeah. Well, guys, we are on possibly my favorite episode yet, which is the Jedi. And again, we're behind a little bit. We took the week off when we went to Disney World, and then we took the next week off because it was Thanksgiving. So, or Thanksgiving week. I think that's right, William. And so, oh wow, Texas Family Camping got that. You bought the Jedi robes for your wife. How
Neat.
is
That's so
that?
cool.
How cool is that? Yeah, absolutely. So we're behind a little bit, but today we're going to talk about it's episode 13.
Yes, chapter 13.
And guys, it's always been really interesting to me that the character that is introduced to the Mandalorian series in this chapter came to be one of my favorites in the Star Wars universe. I was, hey, our epic RV adventure. Oh, thanks so much for joining us, guys.
Yeah.
Good to see you guys. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good Christmas season. I've started watching the Clone Wars, and I absolutely fell in love with Ahsoka Tano. And of course, she is in this episode. She is voiced by Ashley Eckstein in the Clone Wars. And I know I sound like a broken record, but guys, if you've not watched the Clone Wars and you're a Star Wars fan, don't run to Disney Plus and watch the Clone Wars, because it's fantastic. The history, it's wonderful animation. The costuming, when have I ever said the costuming in an animated feature or an animated series is fantastic? Everything is fantastic about it. And Ahsoka Tano is actually introduced as a character in the Clone Wars. So I was so excited to hear, again, in that series, she is voiced by Ashley Eckstein. She is played in The Mandalorian by Rosario Dawson, and very well, I might add. So,
yeah, we had heard the rumors before season 2 that, Rosario Dawson was going to be portraying Ahsoka in The Mandalorian. So that generated a lot of buzz. But, kind of our question was, how much of Ahsoka are we going to see? Like, will it be like, into season 2? Or like, at what point in the series are we going to see Ahsoka? And obviously, as the series moves along, Bo-Katan says, she's the one that's, tells Mando where Ahsoka Tano is, where to find her on at Caladan on the planet Corvus. And so that's where we're headed in this episode. And our epic RV adventure said my son finally talked me into watching the Clone Wars last year. It was not what I was expecting. It was pretty awesome. I really liked Rebels too. Yeah, they're both excellent. Definitely partial to the Clone Wars, but Rebels is also very, very good. And you see, there's a bit more of Ahsoka sprinkled in to Rebels, which is definitely worth seeing.
It is, and I'm about, golly, I think I'm like 3 episodes from finishing Rebels.
Yeah,
so
you're a little bit ahead of me then. I think the next episode's episode 8, maybe. So I think there's 15 episodes in season 4 of Rebels. So
right. I'm a little ahead of you, but yeah, they're both excellent series, and I am partial to the Clone Wars as well. But it took me a while to get into Rebels. I stuck with it because of the history and it took me a little more time, I guess. Clone Wars starts with characters that we know and love. Rebels introduces new characters, and
it sprinkles in some old characters. Just kind of I'll say a bit of a spoiler alert here. You see a little bit, a tiny bit of Lando. You see a tiny bit of Mon Mothma, the rebel leader. You see a little bit of Leia too, don't you? I'm trying to remember. I think so.
Did we? Did we see some Leia? Okay.
Yeah. I think it was maybe somewhere in season 3. You do see some familiar faces, and Ahsoka obviously as well. But but yeah, I'd agree. Our epic RV adventure, Clone Wars was better, and it's difficult to get into Rebels, but I'm glad I stuck with it. Yeah, I'm in the same boat, and I'm looking forward to finishing out the last season. So,
yeah, our epic RV adventure, I made that almost word for word statement to William. I'm glad I stuck with it. It was more difficult to get into, but I am glad I stuck with it. It just got better and better as you went. So definitely, you guys definitely watch both. And if you feel like Rebels is a little slow or you have trouble, like we did, kind of getting into it, just stick with it. because it does get better. But anyway, we of course are tomorrow will be the release of the last of season 2, the last episode in season 2 of The Mandalorian. And
yes.
there is so much speculation, guys. If you've looked on social media, there's so much speculation about what that's going to look like. And, the big question, of course, is spoilers, guys. Y'all know there are always spoilers ahead when you watch our shows. But will Mando be able to reclaim the child and get him back? My thinking on that is yes. Okay, here's my prediction. Yes, he will, be able to reclaim the child, but they will introduce another cliffhanger at the end of it. And think about it, that's how they ended season 1. That's really how they ended season 1. They wrapped up the season and everybody was safe, and Mando, the child was still with Mando and what have you. But then at the very end, you saw Moff Gideon, cut his way out of the TIE fighter with the dark saber. So that was the cliffhanger. Whoops, Moff Gideon did not die in that crash. Yeah. So that was kind of cliffhanger. I think that's how they'll do it again. What say you?
I think you're right. I don't know. I'd like to think that he gets the child, gets Grogu back. I don't know. Given the fact that we know it was announced last week that Ahsoka's getting her own spin-off show.
What?
And it seems like, based on the episode we'll be talking about today, the Jedi, chapter 13, it seems like it's going to follow that storyline that Ahsoka, reaches, is tracking down this magistrate to figure out Grand Admiral Thrawn's whereabouts. Mm-hmm. And that's a big, huge name drop from a Star Wars fan perspective.
If we get to see, at some point, we will see Grand Admiral Thrawn in either the Ahsoka spinoff or the Mandalorian, possibly both.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's very possible they could do it Marvel Comic Universe style, and we get the next season of the Mandalorian, and then we get Ahsoka, and then the two end up kind of converging at some point. And maybe a movie, maybe like some big extended crossover episode. I don't know, but I do kind of wonder though, because our epic RV adventure may be onto something. Season 1 ended, and it was very much like A New Hope. It's celebratory. There's still things out in front of them. The villain, we believe, is defeated. But obviously, then Empire Strikes Back happens, and the Empire has the upper hand. Welcome in, Matt Williams. Thank you for being here. So it makes you wonder if, we don't know how many seasons of The Mandalorian we're getting. We do know, I believe it's been confirmed, or at least news that I've seen, that season 3 of The Mandalorian, the first episode will drop December 25th of 2021.
Yes. So that will be a happy birthday to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Which means we're going to have to wait for over a year for the next season, which if I had my druthers, they would release it like they did, that's interesting, because remember, season 2 released on Adam's birthday, which was October 30th.
That's right. That is interesting.
And this one is releasing on December 25th, which is, of course, your birthday. So that's kind of interesting. Hadn't thought of that until just then. But at any rate, we're going to have to wait for over a year, guys, for it to start back up. And of course, golly, on Christmas Day, we're all going to be, we'll all be watching Mando and opening presents. So, and I
looking forward to that already.
Yeah. So that's a lot of fun. I'm excited about that. I'm excited. Again, Mickey sightings, great stuff coming to Disney Plus. Absolutely. And we better go ahead and get into this episode more because we're
I was about to say we've got a lot of ground to cover. Yeah, our Epic RD Adventure said they're doing a behind the scenes series like they did in season 1 too.
That'll be great. Oh, hey,
welcome in, Dad.
Yeah, glad you could pop in. That's my husband, guys. Jeff is my husband. Yeah, let's talk about this. Opening scene. Wow, mind blown.
I was wondering how long we'd have to wait into this episode to see Ahsoka. And I'll be darned if they didn't just drop her right at the beginning, kicking some serious tail.
I have put in my notes the opening scene should be called Ahsoka Kicks Butt. Because it's fantastic. She of course it opens up, guys. Most of you I know have already watched it, and they're on a planet where there is an evil magistrate who has made a powerful enemy, and indeed Ahsoka is ticked at the magistrate in this town who has taken over decimated the planet, taken over the town, and cares nothing for the citizens, is torturing the citizens and what have you. And this, of course, is just the type of thing that attracts the Jedi's attention. They are heroes. They come to the rescue of people who cannot defend themselves, and that's exactly the situation here. Ahsoka, in the opening scene, is fighting her way in the dark. And at first, all you see is the lightsaber just flashing, and man, she is again kicking butt and taking names and just knocking out these guards that surround the enclosure or the wall of the city. And so she basically fights her way through, and of course you hear the guards saying, stop her, find her, where is she? And you just keep seeing the lightsaber flash. And of course, all of us who know Ahsoka and that she was supposed to be introduced in this particular series know who that is. Yeah. So it's an amazing opening scene. Yeah. There's a
very heavy Western and like samurai influence in this episode, and it's really well done.
It is. It's extremely well done. The choreography is fantastic, and I can't help but think that of course I know there were that Rosario Dawson had stunt people and what have you, but I can't help but think that to the extent that she was able to be included or involved physically in that scene, she must have had a blast with it. So yeah. The fog in the air, I know the whole thing.
Definitely, it creates an atmosphere of mystique. And Ahsoka is. Using, is just kind of making her way through that fog, just dispatching these guards, these poor scout guards that have no idea what they're up against.
Yeah, it's no contest, guys.
So something very distinctive to Ahsoka, you don't see that many Jedi wield two lightsabers. It was very distinctive. Some people that are less familiar with the Star Wars series, when Darth Maul had the double-ended lightsaber, that was very iconic.
Yes.
And then we saw Kylo Ren has the two the cross blades on his lightsaber. So Ahsoka has two lightsabers with also one other thing you'll notice is they have white blades. So a little bit of background on that. Ahsoka used force healing and force purification on the red kyber crystals of an Inquisitor that she defeated. That was the sixth brother. So look, Jeff, I won't go too deep here, but so Inquisitors were force-sensitive dark side agents that served the Sith, and they were tasked with hunting down Jedi after Order 66 was executed, that we see in Revenge of the Sith. And Texas Family Camping. We briefly saw Anakin fight with two blades in Attack of the Clones when fighting Dooku. Yes, that's right.
We did.
But so Ahsoka has gotten these. The reason her blades are white is because she used force healing on the crystals that she got from a lightsaber wielded by an Inquisitor that she defeated. So,
which is fascinating. You knew that. I did not pick up on that because I asked you about the color of her blades. The color of the lightsabers, obviously, in many cases, has to do with which side you're on, and there's a lot of times a backstory as to why the saber is the color that it is. So that hers are white. That's a cool backstory that she actually healed Kyber Crystal. Love that. Love that whole idea. So.
We see, a very iconic pose as she's got kind of the saber in front of her, saber behind her. It's very, very vintage, very, very trademark of Ahsoka's character. We see lots of poses and facial expressions in this episode. So credit to, Rosario Dawson for doing this. Credit to potentially Dave Filoni. Though Dave Filoni, is pretty much joined at the hip with Ahsoka's character since he created the Clone Wars animated series. I think directed it, produced it. I can't remember one of those roles. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, just huge tip of the cap to Rosario Dawson. There are so many nonverbals and facial expressions and poses that are Ahsoka.
Yeah, that's true. I think that Rosario Dawson must have really studied the character before she took on this role, realizing what an iconic character Ahsoka is and how beloved she is. And so I'm really impressed with how she portrayed her. You always wonder, when a character is brought from animated into real life, how that will go. And I tip of the Santa cap to Rosario Dawson because she does a great job with Ahsoka. And I'm so thrilled because Ahsoka, William knows I'm obsessed with Ahsoka. I love her character. I think that she, Star Wars is so full of wonderful male characters, strong male characters. But a lot of the female characters, well, I take that back now that I think about it. A lot of them are very strong. Princess Leia was very strong. She was force sensitive, and a very, very strong character, which I love. But she never fully developed her into a Jedi, I don't think, unless she was trained by Luke. Do we know?
Yeah, we got that scene where she was trained by Luke in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. We never see her actually wield a saber. But, yeah. But
other than in the training sequence.
Yes. There was a brief one. So yeah, but we never actually saw her, in a fight or whatever. But she was obviously probably as force sensitive as Luke. So the M count is high in their family.
Yeah. So just first look at Ahsoka. She destroys these guards outside the city, and the outside of the city, and quite frankly, the inside of the city, where the townspeople live, look rough. It just looks like a wasteland. Yeah. The trees don't have any leaves on them. It just looks.
The planet is pretty much decimated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Ahsoka, she shows up to the front gates, and she wants information from the magistrate, and the magistrate is ruthless. She said the lives of these citizens mean nothing to me, and she's willing to execute a prisoner right there on the spot.
The magistrate is played by Diana Lee Inosanto, and I believe that I recognize her possibly as the same person who played. Is she the same person who played Sky's mom in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Is that right, guys? Does anybody know? If you've watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Sky/Daisy's character, her mom was introduced in several of the episodes. I think this may be the same actress. I apologize.
Yes. Our Epic RV Adventure made a great reference. He says that she's the goddaughter of Bruce Lee. I remember seeing that. It had been a while after this episode came out. I remember someone saying that or seeing it somewhere. So thank you for bringing that up.
Too. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Our Epic RV Adventure. That I think that's wow. Is that cool or what?
Yeah, that's incredible.
I need to look up and see if she's actually the person who played Sky's mom in Agents of Shield. But if it is, then there's another connection then to the Marvel universe. But yeah, that is really cool. Thanks for bringing it up. You guys are so great, and I love that. I love that all of us together can contribute so much to to pieces of knowledge. And gosh, there's so much to it. It's all fascinating to me. So she leaves the magistrate with an ultimatum and says, I want, what I want? The magistrate says, basically, you ain't getting it from me. And Ahsoka says, I will not give you that choice. And
surrender or face the consequences. You have one day to decide.
You have one day.
And disappears into the foggy forest.
She does. And the magistrate's muscle, if you will, looks at her and says, we will be ready when she returns. And of course, not so much as we how do you get ready for Ahsoka to return if she's hacked at you? That's probably not going to be a good thing. So then we cut, of course, to from that scene to the Mandalorian and the child are approaching the planet. They're on approach, and they land, and the child, of course, is still fascinated with the knob on one of the controls in the Razor Crest, and takes it off. Actually, uses the Force this time to unscrew it off the handle.
And that is a bit of a trend, because the child is beginning to use the Force to get what he wants.
He is.
Because we see him take the little macarons from the other student in the previous episode, and now in this episode we see him. Mando says, sit down, get strapped up. We need to land. And so he wants the knob, and so he starts using the Force to unscrew the knob. But yeah, they get off. Obviously land on the planet. Mando looks around. So, not much to look at here. And the child walks out of the ship holding the knob, and Mando says, "Oh no, that's supposed to stay in there." But he takes and kind of puts it, on his utility belt, and they had.
When he stuck that in his pocket, I thought that's going to come up again somehow, and it does. So okay. Inosanto was not in Agents of Shield. Thanks so much for looking that up for us, our epic RV. It was somebody that looked really close. I'll have to a lot like Inosanto, so I'll have to look up who it was. But I thought it might have been her. But thanks for looking, confirming that. So they, basically, Mando walks out of the ship and goes, "Whew, not much to see here," and it's just decimated. No leaves on the trees. They're just everything is gray, foggy, ugly. The planet has just been decimated, and so of course we later find out that the magistrate is responsible for that. But so Mando, heads into town and is greeted at the wall, and kind of tells as much of his story as he feels is necessary. To gain interest.
They pretty much ask him if he's a bounty hunter, and if he's part of the guild, and they go ahead and let him in, because I'm sure they're thinking, man, if we could, if this guy could somehow, damage or injure, or maybe even kill this Jedi threat that we have, then we're doing all right. What fortuitous circumstance be this? For them, they're thinking, this is going to be this is a good timing for them, because they're thinking that the Mandalorian may be exactly the person that they need to dispatch Ahsoka, because Mandalore is the ancient enemy of the Jedi. So they are not, which is why when the armorer sent Mando on this mission, he said, I'm supposed to track down a clan or a group of enemy sorcerers to return the child. He was not, real happy about trying to hunt down the Jedi, because, there's a history there apparently. So. So yeah, I mean, you think of many of the Mandalorian weapons that they use are meant to protect them from the Jedi. As we see later in this episode, Beskar stands up against lightsaber strikes.
Hey, Daryl.
And also, obviously, flamethrower, grappling hook. It's meant to defend themselves against threats on the level of Jedi.
Yes. It's not so much makeup, Daryl, as it is costuming. And we do our own costuming. Can you tell?
So yeah, they Mando comes in, and the city just looks rough. There's a heavy guard presence. The people are actively avoiding Mando and kind of retreating into their homes to get away from him.
They are terrified. They are.
There's an older man that says, "Hey, please don't talk to us." Oh, that's pretty much just. Well, pretty much implies we'll suffer the consequences. Please don't talk to us.
Exactly.
And they say the magistrate, wants to see you. And Mando, walks to this other gate within the city walls, and he sees that there are these prisoners being, they're like standing on raised platforms with like electric fields around them. They're
devices,
they're asking for help. But yeah,
help is obviously coming. They just don't realize it yet. So.
And the magistrate's area is behind its own wall, of course. And it looks all peaceful and serene, and the vegetation thriving.
The inside enclosure where the magistrate dwells looks much different than what's on the outside. She has fountains and lovely bodies of water, and her place
like kind of almost like bonsai trees, and
decidedly different.
Yeah.
And that is of course the case with most dictatorial tyrants. So,
yeah. And so, basically, the magistrate talks with Mando, wants Mando to kill the Jedi, and offers a spear of pure Beskar for his services.
Yes.
And Mando never really agrees to it. He just kind of sets out on his way seeking Ahsoka Tano, because that's what he's there for anyway.
Right. Couple of just kind of detail things that I did want to mention here. They are sounding and this is off a little bit, but they're sounding a gong when Ahsoka shows up. They sound this huge cylindrical gong thing, and I love the way that it does sound like a gong, but it's mournful, and the sound is I thought that was really a cool touch. I don't know how they thought of that. I thought that was really a cool touch. Now later on, Ahsoka is going to slice through that sucker with her lightsaber, and it falls, which is it's a pretty good deal. But then the other thing, the magistrate.
Welcome in GT65.
Hey, GT65.
Get here.
Welcome. So the magistrate says, references the fact that the Jedi are.
Welcome in, Monarch Moments.
Oh, hey. Hey, Garrett or Michelle, guys. Mentions that the Jedi are sworn enemy of Mandalore. Why? Do we know why? Is this some Star Wars history that I'm unclear on?
I'd have to do some more homework to see what caused the friction between the two.
Well, I would too. And that would be that's something that we need to look up because I'm not familiar with that. With that background. We know of course, A New Hope, when Boba Fett is introduced, he obviously is a bounty hunter, and he is enemy of the Jedi there. But as far as a specific enmity between Jedi and Mandalorians, I'm unaware of that history, so we'll have to look that up, definitely.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. It is straight. He smuggled that sucker out of Batuu. Yeah, his Jedi robes. So just a couple things I wanted to mention there. But Mando never actually commits to kill the Jedi. But But again, what fortuitous circumstance be this? He must be thinking, because all he does is say, "Where is this Jedi?"
Yeah.
And he's looking for it anyway. So,
So he makes his way back through the city, and the head guard, asks about the child, like sees the child with Mando, and Mando says, I just keep her around for luck.
Kind of deflects.
Yeah. But now here's something. So Mando sets off into this, barren forest to look for Ahsoka. Now I need to mention this. Now this is really cool. There are tons of Easter eggs in The Mandalorian. But as Mando's going and making his way through these woods to look for Ahsoka Tano, at the 1533 mark, as he's making his way through the woods, there's an owl-like creature in the top left of the screen. And that owl creature is referred to as Morai. And it's a female convor. It's a bird/owl-like creature with spiritual ties to, and this is going to get very, I'm not going to dive off into this, but the Morai has spiritual ties to the daughter. So there's a couple of episodes in the Clone Wars that mention the father, the son, and the daughter.
Okay, and Morai is also in the later episodes. Spoiler coming up for you, William, of Rebels.
Yeah. So you see Morai again earlier on in Rebels, and then you see Morai in the Clone Wars after the episode where the daughter, spoiler alert, sacrifices herself.
Fantastic. I did not pick up on that. I did not pick up on that.
So Ahsoka, there's a quote from her, says that she owes Morai her life and she's an old friend.
Yeah.
So very, very much an Easter egg that people, Star Wars fans freaked out about.
Yeah.
So Mando, they see some creature in the distance making noise, and it kind of spooks them. But then Ahsoka comes out of nowhere and attacks Mando, and Mando's parrying with his Beskar armor, which I thought, I didn't realize, that a lightsaber wouldn't cut through Beskar.
I noticed that too. The lightsaber will not cut through Beskar. Isn't that fascinating? Well, Beskar, according to Rebels, was developed because a lightsaber, because of enmity between Jedi and Mandalorians. That was one reason they wear Beskar, is because it is impenetrable by a lightsaber. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah. Let's see here. Mando's just parrying, trying to defend himself. Sprays a little bit of fire from the flamethrower at her, wraps her up in the grappling hook line, and she jumps. She just kind of gives him a look, and she jumps over and slings the line over a tree and shakes herself out of it. And then Mando says, Bo-Katan sent me. Ahsoka Tano, Bo-Katan sent me.
Right. Yeah, to stop the combat so that she'll he drops Bo-Katan's name, to say, hey, I'm not here to fight you. I'm not your enemy. And of course, Russ, thanks for popping in.
Yes, thank you, Russ.
The Mandalore Jedi Wars began when the Jedi first visited Mandalore. Mandalorians were afraid of their abilities and wanted them to leave. They developed tech to fight the Jedi, exactly, and of course their armor is part of that, because the lightsaber will not penetrate it. So thanks, Russ. Appreciate that.
So then that kind of calms the situation down. Bo-Katan sent me, and he's like, I've come here to talk with you, and as at that moment, Ahsoka notices the child and notices Grogu, whose name we find out here in just a moment. She said, well, I hope it's about him when she sees him. And Mando's kind of pacing back and forth, and you see the child and Ahsoka sitting there next to a lantern, kind of looking at each other. And you can tell that they're conversing because their facial expressions change. They kind of tilt their heads a little bit. You can tell that they're non-verbally conversing, whether it be
like a forced telepathy kind of thing. Yeah.
But they respond to each other just like you would kind of in a regular, normal verbal conversation.
I do.
And the child, it's really cute. I thought the child, whenever they kind of finish talking, lifts his hands up for Ahsoka to pick him up, and she carries him back over towards Mando, and Ahsoka reveals that she and Grogu could feel each other's thoughts, which is awesome.
And this is the first time we are told the child's name. Everybody
yes, we finally get the name revealed. A bit shocking, honestly, to since it didn't start with a Y, because we still don't know what this race is called, this species is called.
No,
but we had Yoda and we had Yaddle and so Yaddle was kind of a female version of Yoda species that was on the Jedi Council. And so anyway, so yeah, the child has a name now, and it's Grogu, and Mando
really gone over real well with fandom. A lot of people just really don't like it, and I think I told you, William. I think G's is like a harder, a sharper letter than Y's. Yoda, Yaddle. They're both softer words, if that makes sense. Grogu is, especially with the 2 G's, is a little sharper, and so they people are saying, they probably could have come up with a better name. I don't care what his name is, I still love him, and he'll still go by, Baby Yoda, and so of
course. And it's so cute because Mando's like Grogu, and the child whips his head around to look at him.
It's so cool.
Just like whenever anybody calls my name or your name, or you call your pet's name, and they whip their head over to look at you. It's so cool because he's just been calling him kid, and so it's really cool. But we get the coolest backstory on Grogu's life and Grogu's life. Ahsoka tells us he was raised at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. Many masters trained him over the years, which I'm like, man, when does training start?
Right.
Because they say he's only 50 in season 1, and so I was like, man, how early did they start training these little guys?
Right. Yeah.
But he was hidden at the end of the Clone Wars when the Empire rose to power. Someone, we don't know who, and that makes you wonder, like, was it just some regular Joe, like, and so, like, we don't know who took it from the temple. Maybe we'll find out at some point, or maybe it'll remain a mystery. But after he was taken from the temple, his memory becomes dark because he was lost and alone. And so Ahsoka says, I only knew one other being like this, which I thought was kind of interesting since we did see Yaddle and I think Phantom Menace. But that was Yoda. So
Right. Yeah, I thought the same thing. I wondered why she didn't say 2, because Ahsoka surely would have been familiar with Yaddle as a Jedi apprentice under Anakin. I think she would have been familiar with Yaddle. But anyway, for whatever reason, they don't mention her and Yaddle was female. They don't mention her in this. Ahsoka just refers to Yoda. So at any rate, that's God, wow, what a great scene with so much really wonderful information that we're all just soaking it in and going, wow, okay, his name is Yaddle. It gives us some idea of where he came from, a little bit more about his background, and that someone took him from the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. That he was hidden and somebody found him and took him. I feel like we'll find out who that was later on in the series. Again, and I was going to say, when you said something about, we don't know how many series we're going to get, how many seasons we're going to get. My first impression was to infinity and beyond. Absolutely.
Ahsoka smiles at Grogu and then asks if he could still wield the Force. And Mando's like, oh, you mean his powers? And then Ahsoka says, the Force is an energy field that surrounds all living things. It takes training and discipline to wield it. And Mando says, I've been tasked with returning Grogu to a Jedi. And, obviously Ahsoka says the Jedi Order fell a long time ago. And Mando says, but the Empire still hunts Grogu. And so, Mando's appealing to Ahsoka, saying, please train him. He needs your help. And Ahsoka agrees to test him the next day to let the child rest. But
you guys, your porgs.
The Ahsoka wants Grogu. The first test she starts off with is she uses the Force to send the stone over to Grogu, and she asks him to send it back. But Grogu, receives the stone and he just kind of whines and he drops it. And Ahsoka senses fear in him, and she, says that he's hidden his abilities to survive over the years. And then so Ahsoka kind of thinks, and she kind of says, tells Mando to come here. She says, "I want to see if he'll listen to you." And Mando says, "That would be a first."
Yeah, I thought that.
So I thought that was really funny. Any parent,
fun stuff there.
Yeah, I was going to say, any parent has probably made that joke about their kid at some point in time. So Mando tries with ask the kid, and Ahsoka says Grogu to pull the stone away from him, and he doesn't. He just gets sad. He gets frustrated, and Mando just thinks he's stubborn. But Ahsoka says, "Okay, try to connect with him." And so Mando decides to use the knob from the Razor Crest.
Right.
And Mando, and he pulls it right to him. He's like, "Okay, you can have it." And he pulls it right to himself. And Mando's so proud. He said, good job, kid." He says, "You see that? That's right. I knew you could do it. Very good." Really neat. Yeah.
What do you get if you cross a pork with a Jar Jar Binks? A scruffy nerf herder, says Russ.
That's funny. So yeah, this scene is really, really cool, and it shows us the true bond between. Welcome in, Shelly. Welcome in, Tina. Great to see y'all, and Amy as well. Ahsoka says Grogu has formed a strong attachment to Mando, and because of that, she can't train him. Because Ahsoka has seen firsthand what attachment can do to a Jedi, and she says a fully trained Jedi Knight, which obviously she's referring to Anakin Skywalker, who was her Jedi Master. Right. Ahsoka was Anakin's Padawan, so she saw
that relationship is introduced or it is explored and played out in the Clone Wars, guys. Yep. Ahsoka is an apprentice of Anakin Skywalker, obviously before he turned to the dark side, and a very painful one, which is recapped again and revisited in Rebels. So that whole relationship, Anakin's fall tugs at me. Yeah. Anakin's fall is heartbreaking to me, especially because of I love Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan is one of my favorite characters. I love Ian McGregor as young Obi-Wan. Oh my goodness, his name left me. Alec Guinness as older Obi-Wan. I love those characters. And so that I love Anakin so much, if you watch the Clone Wars, you're going to get to love Anakin even more. Yeah. So just a little sidelight there. That's tough. And it's a very serious, it's a really serious moment with, you can tell, and still painful for Ahsoka when she makes the statement.
Yeah, actually, exactly. Garrett says Ahsoka's a very interesting character. I love that is Rosario Dawson. I've loved her acting in other movies. Yeah, she did a fantastic job. Yeah. You're kind of at this moment as Ahsoka's kind of like, kind of leaving the scene and saying, there's nothing I can do to help you. She's about to go on her business. He says, the magistrate sent me to kill you. And, Mando talking to Ahsoka. But he says he never agreed to it. He says they'll help her with her problem, talking about Ahsoka, if she sees to it that Grogu is properly trained. So the two of them make their way towards the city. And Mando gives her a full rundown since he's seen the inside of the city. There's a small army of guards, 2 HK-87 droids, which is a nod to HK-47 from Knights of the Old Republic. Right. Then the hired gunfighter, likely ex-military, And Mando says, not even your laser swords are going to be able to stop all that fire.
Yeah.
So the two of them band together, and
says they'll never see it coming. A Mandalorian and a Jedi, they'll never see it coming. Did you not like Hayden Christensen? I know he takes a lot of hate. I know he's not, probably Oscar worthy actor, but I liked Hayden Christensen. I realize that's an unpopular opinion, but I like him. And isn't he supposed to return for Obi-Wan?
Yes, he is. I'm wondering if it's going to be flashbacks or if he's going to be full Vader the whole time. So,
right. So,
and Ahsoka also mentions not to underestimate the Magistrate, and reveals some backstory on her. Says Morgan Elsbeth helped build the Imperial Starfleet, and gathered the resources, and so, I think her planet, I don't know if it was her planet or just kind of her own people were destroyed in the Clone Wars. And so, it really kind of echoes the point of hurt people. And so she is helping out the Empire, and, obviously oppressing all these people because of her, the fear and having all that loss whenever she was younger.
Okay. But, Russ has come up with the how to defeat Darth Vader.
That's the infamous Anakin line where he says, "I don't like sand."
Well, he has a breathing apparatus, so it would like.
When Anakin's sitting there in that scene with Padme, and he says, "I don't like sand," so that's what Russ is referring to.
Oh God!
But and Ahsoka asked you.
Well, it's akin to water on the Wicked Witch of the West, right? If you throw water on the Wicked Witch of the West, it's kind of same thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think Texas Family Camping's onto it. He said, "We felt Hayden wasn't a bad actor, but Lucas wasn't that great at directing those scenes. Lucas should have let Irvin Kershner direct Attack of the Clones." So I think you're onto something there. We'll see. He's going to get another crack at it. So with different directors. Yeah. So we'll see if how he does taking another stab at Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Texas Family Camping, I absolutely agree 100% that on that. That's good point. Good point.
So Ahsoka takes out the guards at the gate and slices through the gong bell. And during this sequence, there's a vintage trademark Ahsoka expression where one of the guards tries to attack her, and she just kind of cocks her head at him like, "Really?"
Yeah, and he runs. He just runs the opposite.
Yeah,
it's really very, and it's quick, but totally vintage Ahsoka. I loved it. Yeah.
The army, the gunslinger, the droids, and the magistrate all greet Ahsoka at the entrance to the inner gate after she makes her way through the first wave.
Right. Yeah.
Or are you going to say something about the gong?
Quite handily. Well, she slices through the gong and just falls into. I love that. I think that gong brings a nice element, that creepy sound. But it's symbolic. I think slices through that because that gong is to warn the people of the city that something bad's about to happen. Essentially, so they probably rang it a lot, and she just destroys it with one wave of her lightsaber. I'm hoping we get a young Vader when he's at the peak of his power. Yeah. Well, now, Garrett, have you watched the Clone Wars? It said Anakin is a wuss if sand bothers him. Anakin is no wuss. I know you're teasing, but golly, hating on Christensen today.
Ahsoka, they've obviously planned this interaction. Ahsoka throws the shoulder plate from the Mandalorian that has the signet on it down in front of this group of the magistrate and all of her cronies, and says, your bounty hunter failed, and Ahsoka wants to know where Morgan Elsbeth, the magistrate's master, is. And the magistrate decides to retreat into her inner city quarters and let the rest of them pursue Ahsoka. And she also orders the other guards, a couple of other guards, to kill the prisoners and then go door to door and take out the citizens as well. So,
yeah, she's mean, guys. She's pure evil. So, but when she realizes, at this point she has no clue, of course, that the Mandalorian and the Jedi have teamed up. They absolutely do not see that one coming. So. But great scenes there. As Ahsoka, they bring her. Ahsoka in the Clone Wars was always very acrobatic, very nimble, more so probably than any Jedi we've seen, actually. And they really play on that in her interest to the city, and I really love that. Yeah.
So Mando flies in and takes out the guards that were tasked with taking out the prisoners and the citizens. And the man from earlier in the episode, it comes out of hiding to come help. And we figure out at the end of the episode he's some sort of city leader. Put some fancy robes on him, and obviously he has some sort of leadership role within this city and with the people. And so Ahsoka picks off the army and some of the droids with stealth. We see a loaf cat, which I'm wondering. We've seen a loaf cat, I think, once before in this season. I'm wondering if that's a possible foreshadowing of Ezra Bridger from Star Wars Rebels, who has a distinct connection with the loaf cats.
Loaf cats, exactly.
And Mando tells all the citizens to get inside. And Mando faces off with the gunslinger right there in the middle of town. And we kind of see a dual showdown happening between Ahsoka and the magistrate. It's interesting. That scene I thought was really cool, with Ahsoka standing on the gate and Mando standing in front of the gate.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty neat. And so then it's at that point that the gunslinger's like, oh, okay, I see what's going on. You decided to throw in with her.
Right.
So Ahsoka goes to fight the magistrate, and Mando faces
what happened to your sound, William?
Well,
Something just kind of happened to your sound. You got is that? Are y'all hearing that? It just all of a sudden kind of. It was weird. It just kind of we're having sound issues, guys. I'm sorry about that. Go ahead, say something. Yeah, just. Can
you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, you're just kind of. It's like all of a sudden you got really far away from the. I can hear you. Can you guys? Yeah, it's like.
Fine.
Yeah, it's like tinny.
Shelly says she's printing a Mandalorian pendant.
Cool. Yeah.
So
that's a good thing.
Okay, let me find my headset then. I'll be right back.
Yeah, it's funny. It just all of a sudden, it sounded fine, and then all of a sudden it just kind of, I don't know what the deal was. Anyway, yeah, the fight scene, and of course we know that eventually Ahsoka makes it into that inner part, fights her way into the inner part where the magistrate is, and they square off. So at the same time, the magistrate and Ahsoka are squaring off. The guy who is the magistrate's muscle, if you will, maybe her head enforcer, squares off with the Mandalorian, and it's pretty neat when they realize that Ahsoka and Mando have teamed up. Let's see, Shelly. Oh yeah. Oh wow. That's cool, Shelly. I'm interested to see that. This cool thing we're in one direction reading Star Wars and reads Mandalorian.
Neat. That's really cool.
So
all right. Can everybody hear me now?
I can hear you fine now. Can you still hear
me?
Okay.
Okay. I guess I need an X-wing helmet or something to to put over this with this outfit.
Next time we go to Batuu, we may have to smuggle one of those out.
All right. So yeah, the gunslinger, and Mando are kind of having conversation, and the gunslinger jokes, and he's asking which side is now with the headset, it looks like you're ready to fly a Jedi Starfighter. Awesome. I love that.
Kind of the right color.
But yeah, so then kind of very very kind of weaselly tries to appeal to Mando. Says, "Oh, we're a lot alike. We're willing to lay down our lives for a cause." And so they're both kind of hearing the fight happen, within the city wall, and kind of the clanging noise of the Beskar. And yeah, Russ, like I said, we said at the very beginning, is there's definitely very much a samurai and Western influence. You got the classic showdown scene, kind of almost at high noon type feel.
Yeah.
And so yeah, they're just kind of listening, and all there's a pretty good fight between the magistrate Morgan Elsbeth and Ahsoka. Ahsoka's got both of her lightsabers, and the magistrate's using the Beskar steel spear as her weapon of choice. And there's a pretty good fight going on. At one point, the magistrate knocks one of Ahsoka's lightsabers into the water, and so Ahsoka's just left with one blade. And a lot of people were really shocked that the magistrate would put up such a good fight.
Yeah.
But if she was trained by Grand Admiral Thrawn, then that means that she's the real deal.
Right. And Ahsoka gives us some some background on her.
Yeah.
It talks about the fact that her planet was destroyed.
Yep.
Her planet was destroyed, and she, in her anger, she has about destroying other planets as she goes. And of course, Mando's leaning up against, or looking at the trees and the landscape at that point in an earlier scene, and says, "Well, it looks like she's not done yet." So yeah. But Shelley, it looks cool, a 4-hour print. By all means, tag us if you do that. That sounds really cool. We'd love to see that. So,
but they have a quick fight sequence, and they're just kind of sizing each other up.
We appreciate it, Keith. He's not wearing AirPods, but
thank you.
Appreciate it.
They do some quick strikes to start the encounter, and then they kind of back up and kind of pace, and size each other up, and then they start fighting again. But yeah, so that's a pretty good fight sequence between the two, and she puts up a solid fight.
So the Beskar,
yes,
what you call it? Spear. She does use it. Yeah, thanks, Shelley. We'll look forward to that.
And I think it's kind of interesting, kind of cool that she taps it on the ground before the fight, kind of like, hey, this is what I've got. like this weapon's no joke. Like you know what this is, and you know that I could do some damage with it.
Right.
And it'll hold up to your lightsabers as well.
Right.
But so yeah, finally, Ahsoka wins. She wants to know where the magistrate's master is. She wants to know, where is Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a huge reference to Star Wars Rebels. Thrawn is a character that's got a blue body, and
it is.
He's very cold and calculated, and he's a very interesting character, very beloved in Star Wars circles. And he's highly intelligent. He studies his enemies very, very closely.
Yes. He does, guys. He's very, again, he's the fact that he's blue adds to that cold, calculating with red eyes. I mean, whomever they get to play a Grand Admiral Thrawn, I cannot wait to see who they get to play.
Yeah, he's almost kind of got like a almost Vulcan, to make a Star Trek reference type temperament about him. He doesn't get worked up. He just he's just, he doesn't get, too high or too low. He's just kind of constant and keeps like the same demeanor.
Right.
But yeah, so that's a huge reference. The gunslinger, obviously they hear that Ahsoka ends up winning the fight, and the gunslinger, this little weasel, goes to put down his blaster, and then he tries to quick draw on Mando, and Mando, just fire from the hip, blast him in true Western fashion. But yeah, we're thinking Grand Admiral Thrawn is probably going to be and Ahsoka's pursuit of him is probably going to be the subject of the Ahsoka show that was announced on Disney Plus. So looking forward to that.
So Texas Family Camping. That gotta get that role well. They really and they will. They'll cast it really well. So I'm really excited to see that. Well, I'm excited about Ahsoka. Man, I'm excited about that.
And I think it was Texas Family Camping. Someone mentioned the cinematography in this episode earlier, and I'll say I thought it was really neat. So, the threats have been eliminated. Also, Mando, for good measure, also blasts the droid that's on top of the building to finish off that encounter and to knock off the last of their forces. But we see, cuts to Mando and Ahsoka outside the city. We see celebrating taking place. Behind them, we see banners with lots of, and some of the citizens are wearing clothes with colors on them, which I think was very much a contrast from the beginning of the episode where people are all cowering. Everybody's wearing the scene is very brown and gray in nature. The town is, and so to see them wearing colored outfits and holding banners, there's a lot of rejoicing taking place.
It's wonderful. I was just funny you should refer to him as the Weasel. That character is. It's the guy that played John Connor's father in the Terminator. In the Terminator shit. God, I didn't realize that. I'll have to look that up. Thanks for that little cool. There. Yeah. Michael, is it pronounced Bain? Wow, that's cool. But yeah, it's really. That fight scene is just amazing. It's very much it has all of the elements of Star Wars, The Mandalorian. It has the Asian element, with the magistrate, and she, she's more, has that Asian element, and then the Western element. I mean, there's a lot going into this, but it works. It works. They do. Yeah, they do a great. Yeah.
Yeah, it is sad that we're coming up on the end of the season, but we have season 3 to look forward to. So there's that as well.
But we have to wait until December 25th, which I wish it was coming out in October again. I was really kind of looking at that. We talked about how the season went. What do you think, Russ? How do you think it's gonna? How do you think it's gonna end up there? I think that my prediction is that they will recover the child. I think they will recover the child, but they will introduce another cliffhanger. Shelley, I agree 100%. I have heard a couple people that did not like the music. I love The Mandalorian. I absolutely love the Mandalorian music. I think it's perfect. I think it's wonderful. And I love, like William said, that da 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 da. It's fantastic. It's just, and they play that when, it's a big rescue scene or something really positive. It's kind of ended up and it's a really positive, happy thing. But then they also have that foreboding, I love music. Love it. Yeah.
So Mando and Ahsoka, save the town. We see the leader show his gratitude to Ahsoka. Mando heads back to the Razor Crest, and little Grogu's sleeping in his little hammock inside his compartment in the ship. And it really kind of tugs at your heartstrings a bit. He says, "Wake up, buddy! It's time to say goodbye." And you see, there's a brief scene of Mando just sitting there holding Grogu. You think about all they've been through since he first laid eyes on him. And Grogu reached out that little hand of his towards Mando. And Mando picks him up, and Grogu, as he's making his way off the Razor Crest, Grogu whines a little bit. And Ahsoka tells Mando that you're like a father to him. And she says that she still can't train him. But Mando says, hey, that wasn't the deal. I wanted to help you. I wanted, you agreed to help you for you to train him. And so Mando gets yet another quest. He was supposed to deliver Grogu to a Jedi, but he gets yet another quest. Ahsoka tells Mando, take Grogu to the planet of Tython. The ancient ruins of the temple have a strong connection to the Force. Place Grogu on the Seeing Stone at the top of the mountain, and let him decide choose his path.
Mhm.
But
possibly a Jedi will hear him.
she says if he reaches out with the Force, there's a chance a Jedi may sense his presence and come searching for him. So the big question is, who?
Yeah.
So the Jedi that I know of.
We need a big sign that says "Who."
Yes.
Because that's the big chatter in the Star Wars fandom universe right now. Who? Because in the next episode, guys, we know that he was communing, if you will, with somebody. There was definitely somebody. So who is it going to be? That's the big.
That's the big question.
Window. A lot of people say
there have been rumors. Yeah, I think we've met our quota on, and we'll see this teaser for the next week's episode. And if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry, but teaser for next week's episode. I think we've met our quota on bringing people back to life in this show for this season, because there's a couple of characters that decide to rise from the grave, or supposed grave.
Oh, bye, Keith. Thanks so much for.
Thanks for being here, Keith. And so I'm thinking of Jedi that are remaining. Luke Skywalker, Leia Organa, technically. Since the Rise of Skywalker, we see her being trained by Luke. Also, other Jedi that survived the let's see, this is after Return of the Jedi, and so obviously Obi-Wan is already
after about 50 years.
I don't think it's that long after Return of the Jedi. I thought it was like 5 to 15.
5 years. Excuse me.
Also, in Star Wars Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, the video game, Cal Kestis and his Padawan of sorts, Seer Junda, also survived Order 66, and also from Rebels, Ezra Bridger.
That's true.
So those are all just throwing some names out there. And then there have been rumors about Mace Windu, which would be pretty insane. So,
we'll see. Those characters, I think we'd all be excited about any of those characters. I think it would be. I think one of the most fascinating people that they could choose is Ezra Bridger. From Rebels. I absolutely, I do. Texas family point out.
Let us know.
Favorite Ahsoka.
And Ahsoka does make she makes the statement in the Clone Wars. She says, "I'm no Jedi." Obviously, she aligns herself with the light side of the Force, but she doesn't consider herself a Jedi. She walks away from the Order. Spoiler alert.
That was a spoiler for people.
Ahsoka kind of smiles and nods as Mando and Grogu leave and fly away in the Razor Crest. So,
okay, Russ, we don't want to talk about that. So, we don't want to talk about that. No Sith. No.
That is funny. Texas family campy.
Yeah, Mando says there are like 20 soldiers and they're with blasters. A bit much for you and your laser swords. Ahsoka gives him the most slow work. Like she knows she could probably handle 200. Yeah. Great. I'll have to go back and look at that. But she does. I love Rosario Dawson's facial expressions are so vintage Ahsoka. She had to study the character to get that. And Rosario Dawson is just cute. She's good, guys. She's good. Sorry
about that, Garrett. I need to give the spoiler alert before giving us the info. Sorry about that. Anyway, thank you for sharing that, Texas family camping. That was a fantastic moment. That wraps up this episode. We're looking forward to the next episode, which is entitled.
One more thing that I wanted to mention there. When Ahsoka says, I can't train him, you'll have to take him. You'll have to take him to the other planet and place him on the Seeing Stone and the whole bit. As they're saying goodbye, Mando, says goodbye to Ahsoka, and then he has as he walks back into the ship, he has a baby Yoda. He has Grogu looking over his shoulder, and Grogu, you can tell that Grogu and Ahsoka, this force telepathy, as I call it, they obviously exchange a goodbye together. And Ahsoka again gives one of her trademark, little expressions, a little grin or whatever. So they obviously, which I thought was really cool. They say goodbye there. Yeah. So yeah, Daryl. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I like it. Do you like the name, Daryl? What do you think about it?
It's grown on me. When I first heard it, I was like, for real? but it's grown on me. It's grown on me for sure.
It's kind of grown on me too.
I think it was kind of shocking because like we mentioned earlier in the episode.
Everybody give us a quick thumbs up or thumbs down, yes or no on the name. Just give us a quick opinion there on the name. Do you like it? Do you not like it? As we close it, kind of close it up here, we need to let you guys get back to what you were doing today.
Yeah, get back to work.
Yeah. Did you have anything else on that? That's
it. Looking forward to next week's episode. It's amazing. Chapter 14, the tragedy. I hate that we're not, on track. That we missed a couple of weeks, but we didn't want to rush anything. We wanted to continue to give it its due, and so very much looking forward to next week. The tragedy, where we see, like I mentioned, there are a couple characters from Star Wars past that come back. So,
yeah, definitely. Let's see, we've got a little channel news, guys, to go over. Let's see here. We did a cookie stream on the Hitchhiker chat this past Tuesday, and I did want to show you guys if you want to watch that stream. This was a lot of fun. These are some of the cookies that I made. They're the peanut rolls, which everybody loves so much, and then there's the melted snowman cookie. I think this one was kind of the hit of the night.
Yeah,
we made cookies. This is Olaf without his personal flurry. Mickey's Magic said that this is Olaf without his personal flurry. So that cookie stream, it's there. It was a lot of fun. And we were also a lot of fun.
Sorry, I have to turn off. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Turn on the sound on my laptop. I try to watch the chat on my laptop.
Yeah, I was looking. Yeah, in summer, exactly, Daryl. Exactly. And then, guys, we were on Chilling with Pete McDevitt last night. So much fun. Great show. If y'all are familiar with his channel name is just Pete McDevitt, and he interviewed us on his Chill with Pete show. And again, thanks to Pete for having us. We really appreciate it. Pete's channel, in his own words, exists to promote other YouTubers' channel, which is really really cool. But Pete is a fantastic YouTuber. His son Preston actually impressed on him to start a YouTube channel. Pete was a great supporter and has been for years and years of the Disney YouTube community. And then he has a pretty big story there too, guys. That I'll leave you to find out about him. But Pete's a great guy. Pete McDevitt is the name of his channel. So get over there. He does some NFL streams. If one of our mods wants to drop a link to Pete's channel, that would be great. But we had a great time. Thank you so much, Pete,
thank you. It was great. We really appreciated you having us on.
Had a great time. It's a pleasure to get to know you. And on Pete's channel, on that note, he has done this coming Sunday, guys. I don't know what time. Probably y'all have to. Is it 5 Central? Let's see. Y'all have to help me out with quickly I almost said The Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm so Disney, guys. The Night Before Christmas. He has put together. It's going to be aired on this coming Sunday. A video of what did he say? 120 Disney YouTubers in this community thereabouts are going to take part in that. It's all for Give Kids the World, which is a fantastic organization in Florida
Yes.
for kids. And that night, that video will have some amazing people from the Disney YouTube community, some big names, and then we actually
5:30 p.m. Eastern for the
5:30. Thank you, Russ.
before Christmas.
Thank you. Thanks, guys, for dropping those. 5:30 p.m. Eastern, the night before Christmas on Pete McDevitt's channel. Absolutely, that's going to be great. And we were blessed. Appreciate Pete for inviting us to be a part of that. So we had we do a little cameo, and a lot of other channels do too. And he included as many channels as possible in this. Great idea. Looking forward to it. Really looking forward to doing that. So, it's going to be really cool. Let's see if there was anything else I wanted to mention. I'm hoping, guys, to maybe to do a pop-up stream. I may have a little pop-up stream coming up tomorrow, so y'all kind of watch for that pop-up live stream. Hopefully, I'll get some more Christmas content out onto the channel before Christmas gets here. Maybe I may just put some out after Christmas too, to have it up there. I think we all need Christmas so badly, and I don't know if we can get enough Christmas content this year.
Yeah.
So there'll be some more. I'm going to do some shorts, the next couple of days. So y'all can kind of be watching for that. We really appreciate everybody for being here. Thanks so much, guys, for spending your lunch break with us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, big shout out to always our ghost host moderators for keeping the chat family friendly, and thank you for always supporting us and encouraging us as well. So thank you. Thanks to everybody that's joined in the chat, everybody that will watch on Team Replay. Really appreciate y'all being here. Shout out to Aunt Joy, Texas Family Camping, Team McNeil DCS, BDF, Mickey Sightings, Andy Aprisco, Our Epic RV Adventure, Matt Williams, Jeffrey Bone, Rayleigh Creative Travel, Daryl Cersei, GT65, Monarch Moments, What in the World with Russ, AJC Magic TV, T. Marie's Place, and Shelly Starwalker. And if I missed you, I'm sorry. The chat was moving very quickly. So thank you for being here.
This little guy came from pennies. Now there are a lot of Yoda plushes out there, but I really like the size of this one.
Yeah.
Y'all can see he's not as big as this is the Cincy Buddy that I have behind me. He's not quite as big as the Cincy Buddy. He's a little bit smaller, but he's very plushy. His head is not plastic, like the Disney version. But I love him. He's cute, and he was only like $12 at Penny's, guys. So there's this my new little buddy here. So thanks. All
right. Yeah. Remember, if you could dream it, you could do it. We go live every Tuesday night at 9:00 p.m. Central Time for our Hitchhiker chat. Be sure to join us or watch on the replay. Like, subscribe, ring the bell if you enjoyed today's episode. And check out our other videos on the channel, too. You can always reach out to us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube, or email us at thehitchhikingbones@gmail.com. So thanks again, everybody, for being here.
And 3 a.m. Eastern, Shelly has put 3 a.m. Eastern, chapter 16 of the Mandalorian, the last one of the season, guys. So we're all holding our breath to watch that.
All right. Anything else you wanted to add, Mom?
I can't think of a thing. Thanks, guys, for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much. May the force be with you all. And till the spire.
And there's always room for one more. So
hurry back. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, guys. We really appreciate you being here.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks to our mods. Till the spire.
Yep.